We're on Facebook now. I have never added someone. Yes. We have invited him on here on Facebook, and at least I think that I did. I am.
Hi.
Hello.
we finally got it. I've never seen Instagram just not work at all. Sorry about that.
It said that I could, yeah, no problem, no problem. We got it worked out, so.
Okay, sounds good.
I hope everybody's here. Give me 2 seconds.
We had to switch everyone that we were trying to tell everyone that was signed on to our Instagram to switch over to Facebook.
Yeah, we had a lot of people that wanted to watch. So
Good.
I know, I was excited about that. Well, I know that we met for a few minutes earlier today, but we've never officially met. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Well, we've met a few times. You've been to a city council meeting and we've talked in
I
passing.
did go to a city council meeting. You're
I've
right.
met you several
I
times.
forgot about
so.
it. Rob, I know that Rob knows you. I forgot about the city council meeting. I did go to that. Well, it's nice to meet you again. So the way that we do our talks is we go through a list of questions. So it seems like I'm asking questions to the viewing audience. I am. We've sent Pat the questions, and then we're going to leave a space at the end, I think, if we have enough time for viewer questions, if we have any that if we have time to do that. That's okay with you.
Absolutely.
I'm
yeah.
sure you get asked questions just out in the street.
You know, everyone talks about going through things, and I didn't know how this would go for me. And it really has been the best experience for me so far.
That's great.
One thing happens in a day where you're like, oh man, the pendulum swings the other way and something unexpected lifts your spirits. So this really has been a rewarding experience for me. So I'm open to everything.
That's good. That's very good to hear. Makes me kind of happy about Logic.
It does too. It does for me also.
Well, that's good. So we'll get started because we usually like to go for an hour, and sometimes an hour isn't enough. So we'll see how far we get. Dowagiac has had the same mayor for about 28 years. With a few challengers, no one has succeeded yet. How will you ensure transparency if you are elected so that citizens feel heard and included in city decisions?
Well, I think that's a great question. And I think transparency and accessibility are what builds trust in your elected officials, right? If we're saying things, you have to believe that what we're saying is what we really mean. And I think a lot of people that know me, they know I just say how I feel. And if we don't agree, that doesn't mean we can't like each other. And I think that that's important to have in anybody, especially and you guys know being in a small business, you can't make everybody happy all the time. But as long as you do your best and you treat people with respect, I think that's one of the most important things. And one thing that I think you can do as a mayor is, social media now has changed everything. You don't have to write a letter to the paper, a letter to the editor to get your word out. You can just go on your social media platforms like we're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Your citizens asking me a question and we're getting it out to the public. And I know how to use those pages because myself, I think I manage 3 or 4 pages, my personal page, my business page, my elect Patrick M. Bakeman page. And then some of the side stuff I do, I help manage the Dowagiac Chieftains Network because we cover local sports as much as we can. And then my wife, she has managed the Beckwith Theater page for a long time. So my wife and I, we know how to manage those things. We know how to get the word out. And we also know what is acceptable and unacceptable online. So like if someone were to give you a complaint online, do you need to weigh in on everything? I don't believe as mayor I need to be the city reporter. But I feel if there are issues going on, and I'll tell you, a few years ago, there was a house on Telegraph that was getting a lot of traction from one of the pages, the local pages. And I just wrote it, 300-400 comments on something. That's a lot of traffic.
That's
It wasn't, most of it was people not understanding a process. And that's a lot of government, is processes and procedures. And so
Mhm.
I wrote a nice informational post and put it up there. And of course, that one only got like 30 comments. So
Yeah.
sometimes the negative does go a little bit further. So
Yeah.
as far as being mayor, if I'm elected mayor, I'll leverage those tools to keep people informed, especially when I think that it's something that needs to be said. And I think it should come from someone. It changes when it's from an entity to an individual, because the individual has a voice. An entity, it just doesn't mean as much. So as far as, accessibility, I'm coming on your show. I've hosted a Meet the Candidate night that was open to the public. I've met in the parks with people. I've met in grocery stores. I I'm I meet people all day long. And Robin, with some of the stuff with your kids, you intertwine and get involved with people that you've never met before. And I have people randomly yelling things at me. Yesterday I was going in a building and someone was yelling something at me through a truck window. So I'm all over the place. As long as, it's appropriate, I'm a pretty open person. So I feel like, as far as accessibility, I think that I'm there on that. And ultimately, the best way to be heard is on November 4th, when we all get to vote. I mean,
Right.
that's our one thing. You cast that vote, and that's how you're really heard.
Well, I also think like also being a small business owner in our town is a huge advantage to you, just because I mean, you are in a small business working in the town that, you know, you are running for. I think that's an amazing thing.
Thank you. And like you guys know, we don't always get it right in small businesses.
Mhm.
People, and especially in my small business, people talk and they share their feelings. And sometimes people talk and say things that maybe you wouldn't talk or say. And same with your small business, how you treat people. You do your best to take care of people, and you don't always get those things right. Same with posting online. I mean, who hasn't posted something online that you were, or liked something you thought, well, maybe. Most people that are active online, you're never perfect, right?
Right.
So, and I understand that, and I think that you if elected mayor, you got to govern that way.
Right.
Try to do your best you can all the time and treat people right and be open and honest. And what more can you ask for out of somebody?
Well, I do really like the aspect of, I think using social media is a very good tool to have, and navigating it through it well, it's a good tool to have. And I also think that we should come back to a place of, we don't have to agree on every single line item to be friends, to get along with one another, to wish each other well. I think that we need to get back to some of that.
I agree.
Some of the big things, you just can't agree on, but we should all at least try to be civilized.
That's the golden rule, right? Treat
Yeah.
people the way you want to be treated.
Yeah.
And like
Yes.
my wife Raven preaches to our kids, have a little grace with people too.
Yeah.
Everyone's just trying to get through their day and do the best they can for their family and their community. So
Yes. I like that. So, question 2 is about poverty. And our city faces a high poverty rate. What specific tools or partnerships will you use as mayor to address this challenge?
well, poverty is something that we all have to worry about, right? I mean, you're talking about small businesses. I always say
Yeah.
every month's a new month. Every month's a new month of fighting the bills off. So uh, this community has been tough. We've been hurt. For the last 20, 25 years, we've lost most of the major factories in town.
Yeah.
And you can look at ICG. When we tore ICG down as a community, yeah, we got rid of a blighted factory and we made a nice parking lot for, the school system and, for the fireworks, things like that. But we also lost a big business that put a lot of meals on tables in this community.
Yeah.
And that one hurt. Mayoral hurt. National Copper, when it went out of business, that one really hurt. All those happened right when I bought my business. So, I moved back to Dowagiac because that was my life plan. I was going to move back here. I wanted to raise my family here by my mom and my dad and my aunts and uncles and cousins. And buy a business, and then within a year or two, everything major closes down with a close range. So that was a scary time for my family, but we survived. And as mayor, what will I do? I want to take a proactive approach to economic development.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be more active as a city. We need to be aggressive, and we need to advertise our community, because this really is a great community. We've got water. We've got people that want to work here. I mean, who doesn't know somebody that drives an hour for work?
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know why we wouldn't be a community that somebody wouldn't want to come if they were trying to expand or put a new business in somewhere. We need to contact our local government, our local politicians, and let them know what we want. I'm in contact with our city commission or our county commissioners, our state reps. I know them. I know Eric Nesbitt, who's running for governor. Him and I have met. I testified in front of him in Senate, and he knew who I was, and he said, "Oh, you're the barber from Dog Patch." So he knew who we were. So we need
Awesome.
to approach those people. We need to advertise our city, and then we need to do some things like a business initiative, like we did the housing initiative. We need to come up with a plan to make ourselves more attractive, and we need to tell our story as a community, because it's important. Without businesses like mine and yours, those are the soul of the community, right? These small businesses that everybody knows, but those businesses that put food on the table, they're important to have, and they're in the big fish, and we need
Right.
to. And one thing, you asked, what would I do? I'll just tell you two stories of what I tried to do as a city council person. When Shopko went out of business, I started thinking, man, I love Shopko. With little kids, you got a birthday, you got to go to Shopko and get a gift. If you need all these little, it was a good place. So when that went out of business, I thought, well, what could go there? So I started actively calling things that I would like to see. So I called some gymnastics places. I called some indoor baseball facilities, some indoor soccer, and they all basically, the story I got was, we're just mom and pop businesses. We don't have the infrastructure, the money to branch out, but I was willing to try. And then another one is, a couple years ago, Subway was hurting. I think you guys know that, right? A couple years ago, it was, and I love subs, so
Yeah.
I started calling all the sub places. Hey, could you come to Dowagiac? And the thing that I got from them was, well, you're just like I'm a city council person, so who am I? And then the other thing was the traffic for the volume for some of the bigger chains. It wasn't there for them yet. They weren't ready to expand into a smaller community. But I'm willing to try. And I think
Yeah.
it's the old saying, if you're not trying, you're dying.
Right. I know that's one business aspect that we've always had as here at Salted Words is, if you don't ask, you never know. If they say no, go on to the next. Like, there's so many people that we can reach out to, network with, form relationships with. That's what what makes business so great.
I don't know how many times I've just called somebody, and I'm a prideful person. I do not like to ask for help. When I was in college, I threw out all my furniture because I didn't want to ask anybody to help. I know that sounds terrible. I was 20 years old, and you're learning things the hard way, and I'm like, I had too much pride. Well, that's not pride. That was foolish of me. I should have called somebody and said, hey, help me move my furniture into my buddy. But I had a car. And so, but when it comes to calling people, I'm not scared to call. I wasn't scared to come by your shop today to see you before we went on, because, and especially if you're in the position of mayor, whether you get along with somebody or not, you're going to represent everybody in the city.
Right.
So it's important that you aren't scared to call people. You're not scared to reach out. And I've even tried to bridge, you have an issue with somebody, I'll go talk to them. I'll apologize. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think as mayor, you have to be ready and willing to pick up the phone and call people. And especially when you're talking about businesses and economic development, to call them and to say, we're Dowagiac, we are open for business and we want you.
Yeah, well, and I personally, I think that Dowagiac needs some lifting like that. We need some pushing and pulling, trying to get some places to work in this town. Not that there's not places to work, but we need some help. There used to be a lot of places to work here in this town, and
Well, I don't know how familiar you are with my family, but my family has owned businesses back to almost the early 1900s in Dowagiac.
Yeah. I'm not
So,
actually, but
so my great aunt and uncle, Jerry and Sandy, owned the Gamble store downtown.
okay.
My great uncle Ron and Aunt Evelyn owned Bake's Place that's now Brookie's. It was Beeson Street.
Hmm.
My grandpa and grandma built what's Ashley's now. It was called Callahan's Walk Up. So they built that. My great aunt and uncle Bill and Janice, where the museum is, that
Yeah.
used to be called Banky's Paint Store.
Hmm.
That's my great aunt and uncle. My aunt Jenny had a hair shop downtown. My dad had a trucking company. He would park his trucks in what is now the museum parking lot. He had Bakeman Enterprises. My aunt and uncle have Osler's equipment, and I'm probably leaving somebody out, and they're gonna if they see this, you forgot. And my uncle Sonny, had when you go across the creek, he had Walker's walk up party store. So
Okay.
my great grandpa Callahan had a plumbing store and business. So my family. That's why I wanted to come back here. When I met my wife on like our second or third date, I told her I'm like, this is my plan, and I know that's kind of, but you know, it's always been my plan is to be here. So
Well, I like the heritage, the long line heritage of business owners. That's good. And I think that Dowagiac has the ability to do that. Even if it was just more small businesses that were hiring, maybe not as many people, but I think Dowagiac is capable of it. I'm excited.
my aunt and uncle Bob and Cindy had the round oak too. There's another one. I knew I was gonna. I'm gonna wake up in the middle of the night and say, oh, I forgot.
Oh my God. If they were all combined, you guys would just own the city.
Yeah, right.
So this is a hard one for me. I have little grandkids, and this is something that is a concern for every parent, every grandparent, and as I'm sure political figures as well, people that are doing the business of the city. But addiction, drug addiction is a serious concern in Dowagiac. Um, do you have any things that you'd like to work out to balance law enforcement, community safety, and compassion with those struggling with addiction? Have you
Well,
thought of that?
you're talking about drug addiction, but there's also alcohol addiction and there's also gambling.
Yeah.
Addiction. I mean, there's all kinds of addiction that can creep into your house, right?
Yeah.
And I think every family, we all know somebody.
Mm-hmm.
We all know somebody that's gone through something. We know somebody that, sad to say, somebody that's lost their life because they couldn't beat their addiction. And I think that's so sad when that happens to a family because it's not just a Dowagiac problem. I know it's a world problem, but we also know it's nationally it's a problem.
Yeah.
And there are no answers, right? If there were answers, we would have it solved. So I feel like addiction, when it's so widespread, and you got to rely on the law enforcement and the justice system. They're essential to keeping your community safe, right? The courts in Cass County, they have the problem-solving courts. Trying to help people out to get them back on their feet, to maybe not go, first offense people, to try to help them find the right ways. But
Yeah.
really, for me and my family, what we've decided as a family, what we can do to better our community, because that's what this is really about, is how can we do things to better the community so that somebody won't turn to that.
Absolutely.
You want to have good self-esteem, you want to have education, you want to be a part of a community. So that's why we volunteered our time into so many different, what you name it, and I probably will later on as we talk, so many different things my wife and I have been involved with. So we're trying to give people something to do. We're trying to build community. And one thing, and I think that if you know somebody that's struggling, or you're a person that's struggling, and you don't know where to go, and you don't want to go to the courts or the police because you're scared. And I live across the street from a church. I don't know a church in this community that you couldn't knock on their door and say, I need help. I know if you came to, I'm Catholic. I go to Holy Maternity of Mary. We have all kinds of things we try to help people with. I'm knowing you guys a little bit, I'm pretty sure that you guys go to a church.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, if you know somebody that needs help, one, somebody's going to try to help you in that church. That's what they do. That's why people go there, is to help each other. So, you know, I don't have all the answers for everything. If you know somebody that's struggling, you can contact me and I'll try to help. I'll try to help find somebody for them. I know I believe it's the Federated Church on Center Street. You know, I think on Saturdays, I had family that lived across the street from there. They have a big group that gets together and try to support each other. I think it's Preston Collette and Brad West. I think they lead that on. And that's another thing. Like, I usually, if something's going on, I can tell you who to go. You know, I don't know if you know Brad, but Brad and Preston, they'll help you out.
I like that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that the Federated Church had a program like that.
Yeah,
I'll keep that in mind.
drive by there on a Saturday. I believe that's the name of it. It's the brick one uh, right on Center Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, drive by
think
there.
it- I think
You'll see all kinds of. They're out there, you know, celebrating. I think it's called Celebration Recovery, I believe is what it's called, and they're out there celebrating, which they should be. They turn their life.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. That's what it's all about. Where I don't know how many mistakes I make, but then I try to make it right, and then I feel so good that I made it right. So
Right.
you know.
Right. I like that. I like that a lot. And
Well, and just having like an enthusiastic, you know, output on our town and wanting to see it better and wanting to see these, you know, people as a whole do better, it makes a big difference just to even, you know, all the stuff you are involved in and seeing and doing things in the community is, I think that's huge as well.
You know, when I started doing volunteering, when I was a kid, you know, like all kids, right? We do some good things, you do some bad things. You're trying to learn, you make mistakes, you're trying to better your life. And then what I found as I got older, I I thought that I was helping people out by volunteering, but you know who I was really helping? I was helping me.
yeah.
I feel so good. I'll tell you, when we first did the daddy daughter dance, and I'm trying to put this dance together, and we did the fireworks first, the Dowagiac Connected. But when we did the daddy daughter dance, and I thought my dream was like, oh, I think we can get 50 people, you know, in this little place right here, the Lions Club. And then we went to the middle school, and we had over 500 people there.
That's awesome.
I mean, that weekend, my family, we were like on cloud nine. It was so awesome. So when you see that happen, it's easy to get involved with things. So
Yeah.
Well, and it is true. It's not cliche that if you are centered around community and your objective is to build up your community, it's going to get built up.
Yeah.
And the more people that you contact, the more people that you become friends with, that you care about, it just builds a network of people that all know each other. I was talking to somebody today, and it reminds me of this whole network of people. And back to, maybe you don't get along with everybody, but if you know someone, there's a loyalty that gets built up in there. And if you have some things in common, if I care about what you're doing and you care about what I'm doing, there's a loyalty that starts to build up in there. And then those friendships get easier and easier, you know? It's not maybe so much about politics in the modern day term, but more about the business of people, you know?
yeah. What's the old Mr. Rogers saying? When you need help, look for the helpers. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I probably botched that, but
No, that is what he said.
that is
Mr. Rogers
all right.
he was my
Don't ask me
favorite.
to tell a joke. I'll kill the punchline.
No, he was my favorite. So, while schools are governed by the school board, how do you see the mayor's role in influencing or partnering with schools to improve outcomes for students? I know that a lot of schools across America are struggling with this right now.
Well, you know, you got two separate entities, right? The school is its own, and the city is its own.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, you got to have partners. I believe a mayor is a key partner with the schools. I've been a key partner with the schools. My family's been deeply involved with the schools. My wife, years ago, went in to do a banking class with first graders. I've gone in and read to the kids. We try to go on all the field trips. We always try to, ask the teachers, hey, what do do you need anything? A lot of times, what teachers want? They want Lysol wipes, Kleenexes, paper towels. Those are big things. So if you got those, you can always just send them with a kid. So I know that I've been a part of the schools. One thing I do with the Chieftains Network is I try to get the football players. I try to get them some press online, like we were talking earlier about using the internet to be your press. So I go and interview them. I interview Coach Davis to try to boost up the football team, because I played football, and back in the day when they had the community access channel on SMC, that was a big deal. When they put your football game up there, you thought you were like on Monday Night Football. So that was a big deal. Some of the things we've done with the school system, years ago, I had a babysitter certification class. I did that for 2 years. I think we certified 60 kids.
Wow.
And we always gave out, it costs money, but we always gave out like 3 or 4 scholarships to help promote it. And I know a lot of those kids right now, my daughter who just went to college and my other daughter who's a junior, it was that age group. And I know we certified at least, I want to say it was close to 50, 60 kids.
Oh, wow.
CPR and babysitter certification, because now you get a certification and somebody at that age, you want to work. And, Robin, I don't know about you, but you don't always like asking the parents all the time, hey, grandpa, grandma, can you watch the kids? So, getting those kids out and they have a little bit of self-esteem, that builds them up. And now they're more employable. So I think that's important. I partnered with, Dowagiac Connected, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. That used to be Young Professionals of Greater Dowagiac, but we're not younger professionals anymore. We're Dowagiac Connected. So we brought the fireworks back. I believe it was our 13th year this year, and it was our biggest show. Every dollar
It was a great one.
Right, every dollar that you bring to the fireworks stays with the fireworks. And that way, if something ever happened to Dowagiac Connected, we could try to move it to somebody else that would want to take it over. I don't see that happening, but we've built this system in place. I'm very proud. I was vice chairman when the Dowagiac Connected became a 501c3, so we became a legit business, or a legit nonprofit. Through that we did mother-son events. So we've tried to promote Dowagiac, and we have to use the schools to do that. If you want to get the notice out, you got to be able to stuff the backpacks. So I volunteer, I coach. My wife, she's with the Beckwith. So Beckwith Theater, they do all kinds of things with the youth. And then she volunteers for the plays and musicals. Usually the costumes, her and Paige Banky won an award for the costumes for a musical a couple years ago over at LMC. So I feel like I've sponsored a lot of school functions. So I feel that comes really, really natural to me. And one thing that got brought up to me by a friend of mine, and I'll give her credit when she's ready to accept the credit for it, but my friend said, hey, what if we did a junior city council? Because one thing that's lacking is an interest in local government.
Yeah.
And we could all guess what somebody else is politically, or maybe somebody will tell you nationally. But when it comes to Dowagiac, you got to be orange and black, right? It's got to be about my neighbors. Who knows? In your neighborhood, there's so many different people. You can't possibly assume that they all agree politically. But that's for your neighbor, right? So I couldn't think of anything. I'm excited. I really want to start a junior city council. I think
that would be awesome.
I'm open to trying new things.
What's age group?
Well, I would think you'd want high school and junior high, right? I would think.
Yeah.
Elementary kids. My son, he says, Dad, I don't. So.
I was just hoping at least 14. So.
Yeah.
I think her daughter would love it.
My daughter went on a field trip and got to see the Capitol building, and she was like, "This is what I want to do with my life." I know it.
Well, so that's pretty cool, because I just went and saw the Capitol last year. I helped start an association for beauty professionals. After when COVID happened and they locked down everybody, and all the threatening things they did to you, they're going to take away your license and things like that. So I called the governor's office. Like I said, making phone calls, right? So I called the governor's office because I knew they wouldn't just let you reopen. I don't know how I felt that way, but I just knew, I'm like, they're not going to just let you reopen. So I called the governor's office and I left a message. I just said who I was and that I'm interested in getting barbers back to business. What can I do? And I believe I still have the voicemail too. I think I only had to keep 2 voicemails. I think her name was Poppy Hernandez. She was in charge of businesses for the southwest side of the state for the governor. She called me and said, "Do you want to be on the Ready Restart team?" And so there was 40 or 50, this big Zoom meeting, and we would get on there and we would go over safe ways to restart. And if you didn't do these things, so I was pretty well versed in going back to work. No, I can't say I agree with all of that stuff, but I knew I wanted to get back to work. So
Yeah.
got my barber's license in Indiana because I wanted to work. So through that, we started an association of beauty professionals. So now I have contacts all throughout the state, but we also have a lobbyist in Lansing. So when I go to Lansing, I already have connections up there.
Good. I like that. So my own curiosity, Project Connected used to be Young Professionals. Was Young Professionals like nationwide, or was that something that just was here?
Well, I've heard of other young professionals, and I think you can join, but we've always just been Dewajek's young.
Okay.
Really, and if you guys ever want to come to a meeting, it's a lot of fun. You make a lot of friends. A lot of people just trying to have fun and help their community out. A lot of my really close friends have developed from that.
When is it?
I believe it's the 3rd Wednesday of the month at 7:00.
I have been to a couple of meetings, but when I had my 4th child,
Yeah,
I think he did me in.
on the other side, my kids are starting to get where they're the age that they don't need me, so I can even be more active now.
Yes.
Where is it?
But well, we alternate different restaurants. We found if there's food and drinks that it makes it a little bit
Yes.
easier
So
to get
is
people.
it
People
just
can eat, especially eat. That makes it a little bit easier. So and then we like to go to the local businesses and make connections too.
is it so if I got on to is there Dewajek Connected on Facebook?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. I'm gonna look it up.
Do you know
We did come to one.
You know Jessica Shank and Rebecca Steenbeck?
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah. See, you already like 3 of us. Well, hopefully you like me.
You're right.
Like them,
I'm gonna meet Jessica. We're meeting Jessica on Saturday, so
Okay.
maybe I'll remember to ask her about it.
Yep.
Okay, so this is a question about budget and taxes. How do you plan to manage the city's budget responsibly while still improving essential services? And I'm thinking, like, I hear a lot of buzz about, do we have an ambulance service or no?
Yes.
We do.
Yes.
Is it?
We don't own the ambulance service. We're part of a ambulance group that we all pay our share. There's a formula that we use so that we have ALS and BLS. I believe we have ALS in the morning and BLS at night. ALS, I think of it this way. ALS is like the A team. They can do everything. And BLS is they can transport you. ALS can give you medicine. So yeah, we do. And, you're talking about budgets, right? You said
Yeah.
nobody likes taxes, right? Small business, we don't like taxes. But it's the part of the world that we live in. And you talk money, money, money. It's on everybody's mind. It controls your life. And I think as a small business person, and you both will probably agree with this, we know how to stretch a dime. We know how to plan. There's not this pot of gold, every month you're trying to make sure that you have your budget. You start thinking about your items that you want to improve on. You save for them. You try to handle that the best you can. And I think that we need to make sure that we're telling our money what to do and not the money telling us what to do.
Mm-hmm.
When we do have money, we need to make sure that when we spend it, it's for the right reasons and what people want. And I think we need to do a good job of listening to what people want and not always what they want, but what we truly need. And, we're building a new water plant. We've got the water and sewer going out to the Pokagons out on 51. You guys have probably seen all that. So, but really when it comes down, you're talking about taxes. We've lost most of our major businesses in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
How can you increase your tax base when you're losing the businesses? And we all know businesses pay more. They're going to pay more.
Yeah.
How can we improve our tax base if we keep losing businesses? We have to promote our community, and we have to promote our workforce. We have to. Do you feel like we're doing that?
We got a phone call. Sorry.
Do you feel like we're doing it?
Not as much as we need to, but
So,
I'm
so
kind of,
maybe one thing that I will do if elected is I'm going to do it, so you don't have to have that feeling anymore. My brothers don't live here anymore. They left. They went for different opportunities. I've got cousins that don't live here anymore. I always, in my mind, I had this, well, family reunion is going to look the same for, everyone's going to still be here. And that's not how it goes. People kind of scatter and start looking for what they want. But what I want to promote Dowagiac.
yeah.
Well, and just to see the town that I grew up here, they didn't always live here, but we've lived here for a long time. To see, it actually thrive would be so bittersweet to, you know, see all the things that we've dreamed of in the town we live in,
Yeah. When I first got on city council, I wanted to have my own board to seek out opportunities. And I felt it was hard as a council person. I feel like being mayor, I can do that better. I do. I need to say this out loud, and obviously this is like going on the record, right? Because it's recorded and it's going to be online. I don't have anything bad to say about anybody in our city. I don't have anything bad about anybody holding any current seat. They're all good people. But if you wait your whole life to do what you feel like you can do or what you want to do for somebody else or somebody, you're going to be waiting a long time. And I just don't want to wait anymore. And my family and friends, the talks that I have, I feel like I'm hitting this right. And I feel like I know what people really want to have happen. And when you have that feeling, I got to go with my gut. And that's what I'm doing with this. And I understand, people are going to fall on one side of the fence or the other. And I will not hold that against you. And on November 5th, no matter what happens, I'm going to hold my head high the way I operated and the way I handled myself and the way my family handled myself. So I am full speed ahead right now. And I'm loving it.
Yeah. I don't think that you have to necessarily have something negative to say about somebody to want a revival in the community that you live in. And I think that, so many things have taken place in the last 15 years that have been catastrophic on Dowagiac. And it's like we're crutching along, and we want to do better. We want to be better. We want to have that small town thriving, aura about us. And we need to get there.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't think it's saying something bad about somebody to want to implement a revival.
And
I think Dowagiac could use that.
That's what I feel like. I feel like I'm going to bring energy and enthusiasm, and I'm not scared to try different things. And we talked about that earlier, right?
Yeah.
I've tried different things at work. I've been walk-ins. I've been appointments. I'm a small business person. I am always trying to do things to improve, whatever that may be.
Well, I do like, if I could inject my opinion, just so far, I do like that you're very involved in many different areas of Dowagiac. I like that. Things that I've learned today, I didn't even know were going on in town. So I really like that too.
Yeah.
So my next question was about economic development. I feel like we've talked about that all through. So I'll go on to.
Well, if you got, I do have a little bit more. If you have another minute.
Oh, go ahead, please do.
Well, when you're talking about economic development, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of different aspects, right? Like, hey, we need to go out and try to pursue businesses. There's no store to go buy a business. You can't go to the box store and say, hey, we want a factory for 200.
Yeah.
But there are some other things you can do that develops us economically. And if you can look at Cass, you look at Niles, Schoolcraft, Coloma, Edwardsburg, Buchanan. And I'll give you some examples of what they've done. Cass has the beach. You ever been down to Cassopolis on a Saturday?
Mm-mm.
Have you, Robin?
It's popping.
It's popping.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna go.
Niles has the node. Schoolcraft has the sports dome. Coloma has the little splash pad. We played an all-star tournament up there, and every time I drove by that splash pad, there were, and I'm not selling you on one thing or another,
Yeah.
Edwardsburg has a field house. Buchanan has Fernwood. They have something that their community has. And this is what I would ask. What is it that you do with your family when you have people come in town or you want to do something fun with your family? What is it that you do?
Go eat somewhere.
We usually go down to Mishawaka, if we're being completely honest.
You go to the gas station and you put gas in the car and you drive somewhere else. So we have got to, you want to talk about economic development, what do you do as a family when you go out? We're always spending money. Oh, I forgot my flip-flops. I forgot my sunscreen. Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, I want this t-shirt. We spend money all the time when we leave Dowagiac to go do an activity.
Right, yeah.
So this community, those investments, they'll bring energy. They'll bring people. We need to find something that's uniquely ours.
Right.
That we can do, that we can say, hey, that's cool. We're going to go do that. We have some beautiful festivals. We all know that downtown, when that stuff's going on, but those are basically quarterly.
Right.
We don't have anything that I say is like, wow, that's what we do. That's cool.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of things that we could try, and I'm willing to try them. And I think, you want to talk about how to pay for those. Right now we're using our marijuana money. It's called the WOW initiative, which I like to take credit for because I said it was like the wow factor, right? From diners, drive-ins, and dives. And he says, oh, this has got the. So we are using that to invest in some really good things like music for downtown. I think that's a great thing. We just put the path in at Russell Park to make that better. But if we want to grow and we want to have more economic development, we have to bring people to town.
Well, this would be a good place. So this is going to stay on our feed. I'm sure you'll add it to yours as well. I mean, I have always liked the idea of a splash pad. I'm more child centered because we have so many grandkids. But
the only thing I say about something like that is if we do something, we need to do something that we can use all year round.
okay.
That's how I feel. I'm open to anything. It's about paying for it. Pickleball has been a big topic.
Yeah.
With citizens. They want pickleball.
Yeah.
I mean, pickleball is fun.
People do want pickleball.
Yeah. So
Here Wednesday nights at the high school.
I don't want to say that I'm sold on any one thing, but we need to do some things to make Dowagiac a little more unique in what we do outside of the home or outside of our normal activities. We need to plan for that.
I'm going to think about that because you know what, just to even get in that headspace of what would be unique to us to offer that could be offered all year round. I mean, we do live in Michigan,
Right. You got to think about what do you do? What do senior citizens do in the wintertime when they want to go walk?
Right.
Yeah.
Like
so,
a YMCA.
Well,
we need one.
Right. If you want to be the first donor, I think those are about $10 million or something. But yeah. I think there's some good things that we could do, and we could develop a plan. And I wouldn't be saying them out loud if I didn't think that we can do it. And I'll give you one example of something that Dowagiac Connected did. We wanted to put a pavilion out at Russell Park.
Mm-hmm.
We raised $40,000 in 2 years.
And we love that pavilion. We walk out there all the time.
That pavilion's nice when it's hot out, or
Yeah.
I always say that's the San Andreas fault. It's either windier than it is at my house, sunnier or colder, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I love Russell Field. I love to go out there and walk. If I get the chance, I will utilize it to go out there and walk. And it's a nice addition to Dowagiac. It's a
Well,
nice little.
the chairman of the Russin Park Board now. I've been the chairman for about 6 months. We the youth sports put up those signs. We just put up the car stops so people don't drive down the paths. We put the walking path in. Baseball just did their some dugouts, the roofs on some dugouts. And
Nice.
we're looking, maybe we'll look at the master plan. We're trying to improve that. We're trying to get quotes to do the cement wall at the play area. So if you know somebody that's in the concrete business and they want to quote that wall, come get me, because that's something we want to get done.
Okay, I like it. This is my favorite question, and it's a tough one, but I think that if we all get it in our minds and we, think it through thoroughly, there is an answer. It's housing affordability. So the median yearly wage for Dowagiac is 35,000. It's the median range according to the internet. And the median cost of a home is 205,000, which is so outrageous in Dowagiac, it seems to me. I know it's a small town and we don't have a lot of. It's a supply and demand situation, probably. That requires 65,000 in income to afford. What tools could you or would you use as mayor to help bridge this gap between wages and housing costs?
Well,
Your personal
how much did you say Dowagiac's average house was?
205,000, which would require 65,000 a
Do
year.
you know what the national average is?
No?
I want to say it's like $350,000.
Yeah.
So I know that sounds crazy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, pickup trucks are going for $100,000 now.
Yeah.
Right?
Not mine.
I mean, this isn't just a Dowagiac problem. This is a national.
Yeah.
Inflation hasn't caught up with wages, or wages haven't caught up with inflation.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, the gap between housing costs it's a serious challenge. We have to keep our houses looking good, the ones that we own, to keep property values up. That's one thing. That way, when you do decide to sell and buy a different house, your house is worth more money.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not going to ever sell, like I don't plan on going anywhere. I like where I'm at. If my neighbor wants to sell, I got to keep my house looking good to help keep the property values up. If you're a renter, well, your landlord needs to take care of their house. If you're running a rental business, you're not just renting houses, you're running a business.
Yeah.
And you need to take care of those rental properties so that those housing, if you have a house that's a rental next door to you, which I do, my neighbors take care of they do their best to take care of it, and I see the landlord over there going to fix things. Those are important things to keep your house worth its money. But I think really, a lot of this goes back to businesses, right?
Yeah.
Is it, if you were in, let's say you were in Mishawaka, would $200,000 seem like a lot of money in Mishawaka? Like around Noblesville? No, those houses are in the 3 to 4 to 500,000. So we need to make more money in that regard. One thing I did a few months ago is I met with a realtor company. The realtors at that company, they wanted to talk to me because they heard that I was thinking about filing to run. And I told them that, these same things we talked about. Keeping the appearances up in the community. Having welcome mats. When you come into our city, we have plain green welcome signs. Go into any other city and look at their welcome signs. What do they look like? They look better than ours. So it kind of starts at the front door, right? Let's start improving, putting some lipstick on some things, cleaning some things up, being hard on blight, keeping our property values up, and then trying to get businesses here to bridge that gap. I mean, that's the only answer. You can't fix everything, but that would be my approach to it.
So let me ask you this. This wasn't on our list, but are there still new apartments going up in Dowagiac? Do you know? Is it something that's up in the air? I haven't heard anything in a while.
Well, no news is no news, right? I don't believe that we were trying to get some down there across the creek there on Front Street, but
Yeah.
they haven't been happening. So
Well, yeah, I know. I've just been waiting, and it
we,
didn't
we
seem
lost,
like anything was.
yeah, we lost 100 renters when we lost the apartments at Hamilton Square and at up Riverside Drive there across from the Elks on Hill Street.
Hmm.
Those were 100 families. So all those hurt. Those were kids got off of our school system. So we lost those kids that, the state would be giving us money for them being students. I know a handful of people personally that it caused a lot of hardship in their life because they didn't have a place to go.
Yeah.
It's another thing about making phone calls, right? All I can tell you I would do is I would call people. I would try to shake those trees. We need housing here. We need apartments. We need the right kind of apartments, though. We want nice things.
Yeah. Yeah. We do want nice things.
Right.
I think I do agree with you, and it seems. No, I don't know. I don't know how people feel about it, but I think a beautiful city is so beneficial. It's got more benefits than we would even care to think about. A beautiful city makes people want to be there, and
Yeah.
it lifts people's spirits. It makes you feel like your home is valuable. Your home is in your city that you live in is valuable. It makes you just feel better all the way around.
So in my basement, I have a room that I have some, I got my exercise stuff, but I have a whiteboard on it. And whenever I get ideas, usually it's when I'm trying to, trying to get in shape. I'll write them down. And one of the ideas I have, and this is something small. There's so many small things we could do that add to the character of our community without losing who we are. Look at the brick pillars. We have brick pillars that we've had nothing on since they've gone up. We've got an NFL football player, an NFL cheerleader, and we have another person from Dowagiac that was an NFL cheerleader. We could put a picture of them up on poles, nicely done, but it
Right.
wouldn't be expensive. You could put veterans on there. There's so many little things we could do that you'd go, man, that looks really good, and I support that. Who would be mad about that?
Right.
I mean, I just, those are things I want to do. Those are things I'm passionate about. I hope people are passionate about it the way I am. I know that when you do things, there's always going to be well, why'd we do that? Well, that's fine. I can live with that.
Yeah. I think beautifying the city and keeping it clean and keeping it a place that looks like it's valuable, I think those are all benefits that are vast, and they benefit us all in ways that we wouldn't even immediately recognize, you know? Um, I have a last question,
Okay.
and I like this question for you, and I feel like you're going to have something good. If you could only accomplish one thing as mayor, a major one thing that would leave a lasting effect on our community, what would it be and why?
It only gets to be one thing.
If you were guaranteed that you could do one major thing in this city,
Okay. If I can do one
or
thing.
it could be you could give us 10 things.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
up to you.
I'll give you two. Okay. Because
Okay.
I'm not a promise guy. As far as I don't know what you can deliver on. Nobody does, right? When you open your business, did you know if it was going to work? No.
We hoped.
You just do the best you can and keep grinding, right? So that's what I am. I'm a grinder. If I really if I can do one thing, I would make a long-term plan for the marijuana money to help pay for and build something that all of us can call ours that we can use all year round. That's the one thing I would do for the community. Now there is one thing that I want to do for myself personally that is personal to me. I think one thing that I really believe is if I get elected, I think there's going to be a lot of people that know me. I've coached a lot of kids. I've done a lot of things with my wife where we've met so many people that I think that people are going to go, man, that guy on the corner did that. Well, maybe I could do that. And I think if I get elected, a lot of people might look themselves in the mirror and think that they can do something else that maybe they didn't think they could do. And I'll just tell you one thing my dad always preached to us. My dad's gone now, so he always said, the only one stopping you from doing what you want to do is you. And that's why I do some of the things I do, because I like to be busy. I feel terrible when I sit on the couch all day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you guys are, and I don't have to be, but I just can't sit around and do nothing. Now, if I'm watching last night I watched the Bears game, that's fine. I was disappointed, right? But I can't just sit there and waste days. It's not what I like to do. My wife says I invent things to do. I enjoy being busy. I enjoy that feeling of going, I have to do this, this, and this. That is fun to me. That's living. And when I look back on myself, I'm not going to have any regrets. And I'm happy with that. I think that's how you should be, right?
Yeah, it is.
I think you should absolutely spend your time trying to improve your life and the people around you.
I'm actually jealous of you, both of you, because I would love to have a podcast. When I mow the yard, I'm listening to different podcasts because I think they're so awesome. And I have all kinds of guests that I'm going to send you that I think would go great with what you do. I have some really good ones too. So,
Okay.
Ooh,
and I
I'd
think
love
you'd
it.
really enjoy them.
We
And maybe
have,
not be the only guy.
Well, hey, we were actually quite nervous to get it going again too, but it has been blessed. I mean, we asked early on, like, please let this die quickly if it's not meant to be. And bam, we were able to fill like 2 full months, and we're like, okay, God, we got this. Let's go.
Well, maybe
we
I'll
have,
be your talent guy. I'll find some people. I know a lot of people that I think. I know somebody that has been going out to Hollywood writing scripts.
oh, nice.
These are Dowagiac people, though.
Oh,
So
wow.
Love it.
people, yeah, I got some people for you that I think you guys would fit real well with.
Yeah, definitely send them our way. So we like to say that we have hopes and dreams for this podcast. Like, we would love a bougie, sparkly studio someday that, we could invite people to and be hospitable along with our podcast. So, yeah,
Well,
send us all your people.
I will. I will.
It was very nice talking to you, Pat. I can't read.
I know.
My eyes are old. I can't see far away.
Oh, you got some questions for me from
Did you see any?
I saw some things pop up, but I had to switch to my phone because.
Okay.
I think they were mainly comments. I tried to quickly read through them.
didn't-
And I think that once we post the video that they will come up as comments
Okay.
as well.
So maybe if you see some questions, you could type in your answer. It was nice to talk to you, Pat. It really was a very nice conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Well, I appreciate that. It's I wish we could have bantered more, but I know that people want to hear what I have to say, so I know that I have to just let it all fly. So.
Oh, Robin and our goal for this was to allow people to get to know you better. So I think it was great. I think the goal was achieved.
I think if you want to get to know me, and I would say ask people that know me what they think of me.
That's a good answer.
And if my reputation, and none of us are perfect, so I'm not worried about any of that. But if that's not good enough, I think that I might not be your guy. But I think there's a lot of people that feel the same way that I do, and want some of the same things that I want.
Mhm.
I'd be doing this if I didn't think it was the right thing to do.
Well, good luck to you. Is November 4th is the big day, right?
Right. I wore my special shirt, right?
Yes.
So
I always get I know
Pat brought his shirts too, and I was gonna try to do like a vignette or something, but I couldn't figure it out with the live. So, all right, I'll see you. So I do wave to you every day that I walk.
Well, if I see, I wave back. Sometimes I don't.
Well, and I'll look forward to hearing from you for some podcast guests for
Yeah.
future as
All right.
well.
Okay.
All right. Have
All
a
right.
good night.
Thank you. On to Wajak.
Yes.